When people think of Adams Morgan, they think of the nightclubs, the restaurants, the party hours on the weekends. And that's Adams Morgan to them. But there's a lesser known part of Adams Morgan that should be told. It's a story of pain and addiction, but of recovery and redemption.
It started with a bottle in a paper sack, followed by words, the kind you can't take back. It ended with me looking through a window of pain I can't explain, yeah. But everything inside me died, where things aren't what they seem sometimes, where things aren't what they seem.
I was suicidal. And that's what it does to you. Well, that's what it did to me.
I got scars on my arms right now, up and down my arms, scars on my legs from using drugs.
I had to get the drugs before I did anything. It wasn't, my body wouldn't allow me to go through the course of the day without it.
And when my mother died, she told me, say, you better get your life together because your brothers and sisters are not going to take care of you. I was on it when she died. The morning of the funeral, I was uptown trying to buy dope before I went to the funeral.
In my addiction, I was an IV user, and I was shooting heroin in my neck, and my voice was taken from me.
At the end of my addiction, I wasn't getting high. I was putting them drugs in me just to feel normal, just so I could walk, so I could feel normal, so I won't be throwing my guts up. You ever had back pain from throwing up?
I couldn't save any money because I was drinking. I had 2 part-time jobs. So what I do is I drink 1 paycheck and then try to survive 2 weeks on the other.
If I didn't get any help, I would have died. I would have died literally in the streets.
Our philosophy starts by looking at ourselves, where we're coming from and where we're going.
We are recovering addicts who have spiritual, mental, physical, or emotional difficulties. We were self-centered, angry, and critical people.
As a self-help spiritual community, we support each other. We are responsible for our actions and our brothers.
We are here to benefit each other in spiritual growth and awareness, and to acquire trust in oneself so that we may trust others in our lives.
We are here because we realize that drugs have more power over us than we have over them, and that drugs have made our lives unmanageable.
We have made a commitment to change for ourselves, for those we love, and for those who love us.
No matter how difficult, we will succeed and take our rightful place in our community.
I pray, and my hope is that more places like this spring up to help people, because there are a lot of people who are coming back from the institution, the jails. There are a lot of people still homeless. They need some. They're sick and homeless and don't have anywhere to go.
Tell me, what happened to get you to Christ House?
Well, I was a IV drug user, and I got sick. I messed up my groin, so I had to go in the hospital. I didn't have no insurance, nowhere to go, nowhere to stay. And so they sent me to Christ House. I came on crutches and they bandaged me up real good, gave me the best health that I can find. The people was just beautiful. Since I've been there, I made it to the Kairos Program, got to be a member of Kairos.
Kairos Program started in 1992. And what Christ House was doing, they were getting people, getting apartments in the neighborhood so they could stay connected to Christ House by coming back and forth to get you meals and do your program, service work and stuff like that.
Good afternoon, Christ House.
When the program started getting bigger, they decided to buy Kairos House, and I'm the first member of the Kairos Program.
In your journey, it was ordained for each and every one of us that comes through these doors to come through here. That's a part of our journey. The spirit of this place has transformed a whole lot of lives.
Yeah, I'm good.
I wanted to experience before I died, waking up without drugs. You know, I had to have a shot of drugs, but I could never imagine myself without that.
I started using hard drugs in 1968. I was 17 at the time.
I began using drugs, which have been a major problem throughout my life. I began using drugs, starting with alcohol and marijuana at 12 years old. Once I became 16, I started shooting heroin. Also in 16, I had committed 2 armed robberies, which was in 1973. I received a 30-year sentence. That 30 years, I did approximately 15 years. Even during my incarceration, I continued to use drugs.
You know, I was in our institutions. I was up in Danbury, Button, North Carolina, Texarkana, Texas. Went through Petersburg. First time I got on the airplane was a prison plane. I was up in the air, shackled, drinking black coffee with no sugar, and scared as hell.
By the time I came home, 31 to almost 32 years old, I started smoking crack. I subsequently found myself returning in and back and forth to jail because of my usage. All told, I have approximately 25 years of incarceration. 55 years old.
Johnny, how's your life different since entering the Kairos program?
My life is 100% different. I'm better. When I moved over here, I had a chance to go in my room and think about a lot of things. And one thing kept coming up. When I was panhandling down by Bend and Lincoln Theater, that's where I was. And this dude came by, gave me $40 and bought me something to eat. And he said, "You didn't fail us, we failed you."
I know what emptiness, I know how it feels. I know what it does to you.
If I go back toward my childhood coming up, my parents didn't raise me. I was raised by my mother's older sister until I was 14. And then I went back to stay with my parents, you know. And my father used to drink at the time, and he was kind of a rough man. So I had a whole lot of animosity toward him for at the time. My family, him and my mother.
I have a sister. She's just one Thanksgiving. I didn't even. Well, she didn't even know it was me. at the gas station. She pulled up to get some gas, and she didn't even know it was me. Until one of my great nieces saw me and told her, says, Aunt Gwen, that's Uncle Greg. I recognized her, but she didn't even know it was me. And when I seen her cry, and that's one of the reasons why I stayed away from my, like I said, it was the shame. I stayed away from my family.
There are two words in Greek for a sense of time. There is chronos, which is measurable time, a minute, an hour, a day, a week. That's chronos time. Kairos time is a different way of measuring time in which there is a moment of enlightenment, a moment when God breaks in and suddenly life is seen in a completely new way and change is possible.
I came home after my last incarceration, which my last incarceration was approximately 2 years. But a lot of things changed during that time. I realized finally that I could no longer stand the consequences of my drug usage and my criminal activity. When I was finally released, I was really determined to try to make a difference in my life. Things just really began to change for me. For the first time in my life, I really decided that I wanted to stop using drugs.
When I was using drugs, I didn't care who I hurt, you know. I don't regret it today. I accept it. I have to accept the way my life went. Because, I can't live in the past.
Acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I'm disturbed, it is because I have found some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact in my life unacceptable to me, and I can find no serenity. Until I could accept my alcoholism, I could not stay sober. Unless I accept life completely on life terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as to what needs to be changed in me and my attitude. This program is, it's mostly about change. Now, I started out at Christ House across the street. I was over there for a couple of months, and I moved over here to an apartment in Kairos House, which is a part of Christ House. And ever since I've been over here, I've been through a lot of medical problems, and a lot of them they've been difficult, but I found none of them, enough to make me want to go back out. Because my life here is like day and night from what it was at the end of my story.
I can look right out my apartment and see the monument straight ahead there. And I have a very good view of the 4th of July fireworks. I remember because I shot what we call as a heroin user was a miss in my neck. I thought that I would never sing again. I never thought I would never talk again. And so I promised the Lord right then and there. I said, if I ever get a chance to sing again, I'm going to sing with all my heart. I'm going to continue to keep singing.
It's beautiful to be able
to take your rightful place in your community and be loved by others.
By being in Kairos, I wasn't on the street doing drugs or nothing like that, because there's no way I could have been this clean if it wasn't for the program. And being in the program has gotten me back in touch with my family. I hadn't seen my daughter in 40 years, but she found my son on Facebook. His name was Irvin also. And she asked, because he lived in Arlington, Virginia, she asked, was he any by chance related to the Irvin Johnson? He said, yeah, that's my father. So those two never met each other before.
Oh, wow.
So she called me, after he gave her the number, she called me. She said, look, Dad, I'm coming down there tomorrow. Talked to her one day, and there she was at my house the next day.
I'm quite sure you was happy to see her.
Oh man, you just don't understand the emotion I was.
How old was she when you last saw her? Before?
3 years old.
3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's
43.
The job means a lot, number one, because I was patient on this floor. And first thing I learned back when I got up here was about gratitude. Because I see how these people treated me when I came up in here. I was all broke down and everything. And not knowing 2 years later I would wind up being staff up here. And I just want to give back to these patients the same way the staff gave to me. You know, it's a everyday thing, but it's a humbling experience when you see people get well and you have something to do with it.
I never believed I could have come back to like, I was dead like Jesus, man. I resurrect back. I just happened to come back because of the wonderful people I meet and the treatment I got in Christ's house. I tell you, I never ever seen a place like this before in all the walks of my life, man.
This program is the best thing that happened to me in my whole life. And the community is wonderful, the community.
So I'm just thankful for today. I'm thankful for what we have. I would hope that it will continue on to be good for me as it's been for the last almost 44 months. But only time will tell.
No matter how difficult.
No matter how difficult.
No matter how difficult.
No matter how difficult.
We will succeed and take our rightful place in our community.
I have a good relationship with my family. I do things now that I only dreamed about. Last year I went on a trip to Costa Rica for 10 days. And when I was drinking and whatnot, I couldn't even make it to Maryland or Virginia. And so far right now, I don't intend on going anywhere because I like the community I'm in. Thank you.
Sound like you living large right now. You know,
I'm living real big. Living that life like it's golden, golden, golden.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, man. But that's my story just about, because every day is a beautiful day here in this program. So I'm going to end with that.
Okay.
And thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for letting me share my story with you, and I hope it helps somebody.
That's it. I done did my little story short and brief.
do your 60-minute thing, Mike.
I just thought it was very good interview, very forthcoming and very informative. And thank you very much.
Hey, thank you. It was a pleasure.
The pleasure's mine.
I gotta ask the brother shot.
You don't get his whole body?
No, I don't get the whole body.
I want the whole body, boy.
I want to see the whole body.
Yeah, knowing you, you would.
It is recorded. I whispered.
You got a mug shot there, boy. Yeah.
All right. And the numbers up under there. Delete it.
Yeah, this would be the lightsaber.
Okay, go ahead. Start over.
I thought
No,
it was
that
filming
was a
too.
practice run.
Yeah, that takes time to get up out of here. We've been here a while.